Great day, great day, great day. It's me. It's me. Happy YouTube Day. Like I always say, it's my favorite day of the week. I hope it's yours too. I'm gonna go on the topic, then we'll talk about a couple of other things. As you can see, this is my new tattoo. I got this to honor my auntie who passed away. Her favorite color was purple. So I got a purple butterfly and whimsical stuff going up my arm. So yeah, wanted to share that with you guys. And this is my first video since my birthday. So first video since turning 37, and baby, it is going to be some stuff to discuss. And that's actually why I chose this particular topic, because it's something I had to learn. Which today's topic, the title is placing people where they belong. When I was younger, in my early 20s, my big cousin Letitia would always tell me, you have different friends for different reasons. You have different friends for different reasons. You have friends you go to church with, friends you go to the club with, friends that you go just to dinner with, friends that there's just different friends for different reasons. And I never understood that concept until I got into my 30s. And last year was when I really learned my biggest, well, actually, in the beginning of this year, I learned my biggest thing was my biggest issue, and what stunted a lot of my growth was, I love how this looks, looking at the tattoo mirror. One of the biggest reasons why my growth was stunted was because I had people in the wrong places in my life. And this year, I'm covering my mouth. This year, I ended up redirecting, replacing, removing, and because like I lost a lot of good people in my life. A lot of good connections were severed and ended, and I had to understand like the people that were left. And I'm like, okay, I kept hearing changes are going to be made in your circle. I'm like, okay, God, like what changes? And I'm like, I already lost enough people. Like, who else is I'm going to lose as a friend? And it was rearranging of putting people where they belong, putting people in the right place that God designed for them to be at in my life. So I got a couple of bullet points I want to go over. One of the things that I learned with people, and as well as myself, like what I learned was, sometimes we overplay our role. Sometimes we'll play the role as a best friend to an associate. We'll play the best friend to someone that's just an associate. Another thing that we do is, and this is one of the things that I learned, is don't be so quick to call people friend, family, brother, sister, bestie, prayer partner, you name it. You have to be very careful on where you place people, especially in roles that have a higher calling than the other role. I had people that I would call my brother or my sister, and they really weren't. They really weren't fit to be in that position. I was calling people friends that were meant to just be and stay coworkers. I was calling people family, and they really weren't my family. I was calling people best friends. They really weren't my friends. Like, to begin with, let alone a best friend. And it struck a nerve with me. I used to always sit there and say to one of my friends, "That's not your friend. That's not your friend." And that was that was as I was learning about placing people in the right position in my life. Sometimes coworkers are just coworkers. That's it. I mean, you spend a lot of time with coworkers throughout the week. You spend 40 hours with them a week. You spend you start your day with them, you end your day with them, and sometimes it has to be left at just, okay, sometimes it has to be left at just that. Nothing more, nothing less. Go in, clock in, have a good time, take your ass home, and be great. With acquaintances, you have to be very careful with acquaintances, like bringing them into the friendship circle or the brother sister circle, or sitting there saying you're my best friend. You have to be very, very careful at where you position and place people in your life. And that kind of leads to my next point, is sometimes people are hurting you, and it's hurt me, is because they are in spots they aren't qualified for. Like, you're making people your brother and your sister when they don't even know how to be a good damn friend. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm very particular over who I bring around certain people, or where I take them, or what places I take them to, because my thing is, once I bring you into a certain aspect of my life, you are a part of that aspect of my life. You're embedded in that memory. And what I've learned is, it's like, I've been hurt a lot of times when once people's true intentions and colors have shown, it was like I went back to memory over experience I had with them, places I went with them, things I was introducing them to, and I'm sitting there like, wow, it's like this person played this role and they're not here anymore. And the thing about it is, I'm going over memories, realizing they had no business being there in the first damn place. And it was a position that I put them in. Because and that leads to my next point. Stop trauma bonding. You can connect people with people, you can understand people, you can meet people and they can contribute to your healing journey. However, stop trauma bonding. I've learned some of my greatest friends that I have, they've earned their spots. We've had some ups and downs, or we've had shared some great memories. We've been places. It's friends in my life that have earned their spots in their life and in my life. And when it comes to, in particular, trauma bonding, you have to ask yourself, when I met this person, we connected over a similar situation. Is that why they're here? Because what we tend to find out is that sometimes when we meet people, we trauma bond, we make them our besties, make them our bros or our sisters. We put them in this position because of our trauma bond. But what happens once you've healed from that trauma? You trauma bond with the person, but what happens when one person heals and the other person decides to stay behind? Or if you trauma bond with the person and that person is trying to keep you back from pursuing your own healing. Something to think about, isn't it? So that's something that I had to really realize as time went on, as far as like, what was I doing? How was I contributing to my trauma? I have to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. 1 second. 1 second. And we're back. So I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I don't want nobody to call in the middle of us doing this. So thank you for being patient with me for that little 2 seconds. However, back to what I was saying. You're trauma bonding, and what happens when either neither of you are healing, or one has healed, the other one hasn't, or that person's trying to pull you back from healing and want you to stay there. They want you to stay in that safe place of what's considered a safe place in that trauma. We'll do a video on trauma bonding. That's going to be next on my list. Not for next video, but eventually we'll go there with that one. I was watching a video today on Facebook, and interestingly enough, in that video, I ended up having a conversation. And in that conversation, we were talking about what I was sharing something from it. And little girl meets a guy, right? She's like 5 or 6 years old. She meets this guy in the hospital that's a felon. She shares that she has this condition, which apparently, come to find out, you can't live through this. You're gonna be unalive. And this guy, that's a criminal. He's a con artist. He's in an orange jumpsuit, and he has an issue with his kidneys. They don't work. So they're sharing a story about, she's like, "Why are you here? I have this." He says, "My kidneys don't work." So she tells her dad, she's like, "I don't have a kidney." She's like, no. She said, "Do I have a kidney?" The dad says, "Yes." And I guess he says she has 2. And then she says, "Can I give him one?" And I guess it's that they know there's an end all be all with the little girl. So the little girl ends up, right, Little girl ends up, also the dad is sitting there saying, I don't want you talking to me anymore. And the girl's like, why not? Because he has tattoos like you. And then he's just like, no. And then she's just like, I don't understand, because Jesus says, I guess he's referencing him not being a good guy. And she was like, well, Jesus loves him, so why can't we love him too? And in the story, um, the criminal and her, they connect or whatever. She's trying to figure. She writes a letter to the doctor, saying that she wants to give the kidney to this man, and the family just all confused, like maybe we shouldn't. But this little girl is adamant about giving this man her kidney, and she's going back and forth, spending time with this gentleman, and she's just like a little kid, and she's talking about healing and forgiveness, and she's teaching him a very important lesson, and she leaves him a book detailing her being sick. I'm not detailing, but a little kid's version of her getting sick, her ending up in the hospital, her meeting this man who became her friend, and how he misses his family and he loves them. And the next thing to it is she ends the story. She ends her part in the story by saying, now it's time for you to write your story. And it's a bunch of blank pages. Little girl ends up passing away, sadly. And I didn't watch the rest of it, but I'm gonna guess that whatever it was, the little girl ended up, the family gave the man the kidney, right? And I'm sharing the story, and I'm recognizing that sometimes people are meant to be keys to open the next door in our life. Sometimes you meet people, when they say people for seasons and reasons, sometimes it's one of those things where some people in our life, they're meant to, some people in our life, they're meant to be a key to our next door, a key to our next door. And you stay in this house, you live there, you eat there, you go through all these different things, you make memories there. And then eventually, once it's time to move, you go on to the next phase of your life. You go on to a bigger home, or you downsize to a more efficient home. Like, things of that nature happen, and like, you move on to the next level. And the thing about it is, when you have your keys to your new home, you have to really get rid of your old keys, because your old keys won't work in your new home. You got some people who are keys and some people who are keychains. Some people are keychains you put on your ring and you carry them wherever you go. You carry them to your next level in your life. You carry them as you go on. You always have that keychain. But you can't use an old key in a new house. So you have to get rid of that old key, because that old key doesn't work anymore. Because the access you need, and then the thing about it is, you can't even go back to the old house because the new key won't work in the old home. So some people are meant to teach you something. Some people are meant for a current level in your life. Certain people are meant to be just that, a moment. That's it. It's kind of like relationships. I always sit there and say the relationship only fails if you didn't learn anything. Sometimes you go through relationships to prepare you for the real relationship. Sometimes you go through relationships to prepare you for your husband or your wife. Sometimes you go through relationships for you to see a new version of you, or to see a current version of you that needs to heal. I fell out with someone, and it was so crazy because I evaluated what I went through with this particular person. And it was so crazy because it hurt me so much. It hurt me so much that I was put in a position to where I could love that person but not give them back access to my life. Like, when I see them, it's love. However, it's just one of those things where I prefer, and I guess it's the level of disrespect. I prefer to love you while you're over there, while I love myself over here. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just where I'm at with certain things, you know? So I made that decision, and it was a early lesson in putting people where they belong. And it was a great lesson for me to learn, because I carry that in current situations and understanding, like, all right, people have to earn my love and my trust and my respect, because a friend like me is hard to come by. I also have to understand that everybody's not my best friend. Everybody's not my surrogate mom or my surrogate sister or brother. That's not their position. They're meant for, and the thing about it is, as time goes on, God will reveal to you why that person is in your life. The point is to enjoy the moment, enjoy the conversation, and learn and grow from there. Don't automatically jump into it. This is my sis. This is my good sis. No, it's not. No, it's not. And that's okay. Everybody's not meant to be your brother or sister. I mean, we're all brothers and sisters in Christ, but everybody's not meant to be your sibling that you're super close with, or even your best friend. That's not their purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is my mom. My mom is not my friend. She's in that role. That's her position. But I'm not gonna walk up to mom and be like, bitch, let me tell you what the hell happened this weekend. I'm not doing that with my mom, because that's my mom. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's you gotta think about it like that sometimes, you know? Like, I also think that a lot of the times we do this, because the reason why I did it was because I was longing for something and wanting something so bad that I was willing to put people in these positions to fill a void. And yeah, they may have covered the void, but they never filled the void. They covered it, but they didn't fill it. You know? And a lot of self-evaluation, a lot of self-reflection leaded me to understanding I have to protect my peace. I have to protect my space. That's why it's like, anytime I've had my own place, when I had my first apartment, I had people to the left and right. Like, it didn't really matter to me. And I was wondering, like, why I had so much chaos in my home. It was because I was exposing my peace to too much chaos and foolishness, you know? And it taught me as I went along. I could see why certain people didn't have certain people in their homes. I could see why certain people were very, like my auntie, she never liked people at her house. And I get why. And that taught me to protect my home at all costs, to protect my peace at all costs, because my home was my place that I came to protect me from everything else going on outside in the world, you know? So it's just one of those things. It's a lesson learned. So, yeah, you can't let everybody into your home, and you can't let everybody into your inner circle, and you can't let everybody into areas where it's supposed to be peace and tranquility. That's just what that is. Everybody's not meant to be invited there. And baby, that's okay. That is completely okay. So I just want to encourage you, as we're navigating through new seasons, look at your circle and look at over past situations and ask yourself, am I playing the right role in people's lives? Because sometimes we can overplay our part. Sometimes we will overplay our part, causing us to underperform in areas where it's needed. We'll end up being best friends to people while not being best friends to our real best friends. We'll be best friends to associates versus being actual best friends to our friends. Our best friends, excuse me. So it's something to think about. So I want you to ask yourself, when it comes to people in my life, do I have them in the right spot? When it comes to the role that I play, am I playing the right role? All right? So that's today's video. So something to think about. So I think what I'm going to start doing the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start talking about, I'm going to do encouragement, and do my encouragement still because that's my heart. But I'm also going to go into talking about things that are going on in the world, because this Diddy stuff is I want to talk about it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, my favorite TV shows, I want to talk about them. And I want to talk about them with you guys. So I think that'll be something different and something fun for us to do. So hopefully that's something that you guys will be open to doing with me. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, like I said, I want to talk about it. I really want to talk about it. I've been talking about it all day, dialysis, you name it. Like, I've really been sitting there talking about this shit. So, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, and I'm going to talk about it because, and I'm going to end on this note. Speaking of Diddy, I think sometimes we have to be very careful and mindful of things that we say about people and understand. And I'm saying that, and I don't know why, I'm going to talk about the situation. However, we have to be mindful on how we deliver certain things. We have to be mindful of how we deliver certain things and understand at the end of the day, these young girls, should not, because he has 17-year-old daughters, and they should not have to pay for what their father has done. Amongst us adults, we can talk about it because that's what we're going to do. However, there's a difference between speaking facts versus bashing somebody, and that's not what we're going to do here. We're never going to bash here, but we're going to talk about lessons that can be learned from things that we're seeing in public. That's what we're going to do. So it's gonna take a negative situation, and hopefully through talking about it, it can help somebody else or help somebody who is struggling with certain issues, you know? But I want you guys to, so you guys will see what I mean as far as like how I'm going to be doing my delivery. But I think we should all be mindful of how we say things. And the media coverage, where they're covering it, I think has been very fair because those teenage girls have to, and it's sad, but they are his legacy, and they're literally going to have to, court of public opinion is going to say they have to answer to what he's done, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So be careful and be kind. And I'll show you an example of how we can be careful and be kind. Because even in the midst of a bad situation, you have to be careful and you have to be kind. You have to. Because the thing about it is, it's a lot of Diddies in y'all families. It's a lot of Diddies in y'all families. Some of y'all daddies have been a Diddy to y'all mamas. That's not bashing. This is a reality check. Some of y'all, some of y'all brothers are Diddy's to your sister-in-laws. Some of y'all sisters are, allegedly, some of y'all sisters are these young girls to a Diddy. So that's all I'm going to say for today. I love you all. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for the love for my birthday. Thank you all for reaching out, the love that was shown to me. I am greatly appreciated. The people that I consider my close loved ones all reached out to me, all made sure I enjoyed my birthday. And I am extremely grateful for every last one of you. And for those that you know, those of you who know who you are, I hope you receive back tenfold for what you did for me on my day. Because what it may seem like it's small to you or to others, it was huge to me. And I am humbled, I am grateful, I am appreciative, and I love you with every fiber of my being. Because the role that you play in my life, you're in the right space. And I'm grateful that you get to be that puzzle, that piece to my puzzle. All right. So I love you all, and I will see you all next week.